The news came like thunder on a clear day in the late 1930s. It wasn't just another ship. It wasn't a simple frigate or just another cruise in our already formidable fleet. No, this time it was something different. Something monumental. A new aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise. And I, John Miller, a young naval engineer with the dust of the shipyards still fresh in my boots, would be part of his creation. The emotion was a whirlwind in my chest, mixed with a pang of panic when thinking about the scale of what was asked of us. From the first day, the magnitude of the project became palpable. My initial assignment was in the helmet design team, a task that filled me with pride and terror in equal parts. The biggie, as we already called it in the corridors, had to be robust, fast, and above all, capable of withstanding the brutal punishment of the war that we knew was coming. The initial plans were a maze of lines and calculations, each representing a crucial decision. The biggest challenge at the beginning was the integration of the flight deck. It was not just a flat surface. It had to be a functional runway, resistant to impacts and heat from aircraft escapes, and wide enough to allow simultaneous operations. I remember whole nights reviewing calculations, discussing with the team about the thickness of the steel, the location of the catapults, the design of the brake cables. The tension was palpable, the pressure immense. Every mistake on paper could mean lives lost in the future. Once the plans were advanced enough, the real test began at the Newport News shipyard. The noise was deafening, the constant hammering of the rivets, the hiss of the welds, the squeak of the cranes moving gigantic sections of steel. It was a symphony of creation, but also a constant struggle. One of the biggest technical obstacles was the propulsion system. The Enterprise had to be fast to avoid dangers and to position itself strategically. This meant massive turbines and a complex network of boilers and axles. Alignment problems arose with the reducing gears that made us waste weeks. Every delay felt like a personal blow. I remember the chief engineer, a man of few words but penetrating gaze, repeating, "Time is our greatest enemy." Then there was the management of the workforce. Thousands of men working under pressure, many of them new to the trade. There were accidents, small fires, delays in the delivery of materials due to changing government priorities. My role expanded from calculations to supervision on the dock, resolving disputes, making sure schedules were met, and often improvising solutions when things didn't go as planned. I saw how the rust stuck to our hands, how the sweat soaked our clothes, but I also saw the determination on each face. The installation of the aircraft elevator was another feat. These elevators had to be powerful enough to get on and off dozens of aircraft quickly and safely, even in rough seas. The initial prototypes showed failures in the hydraulic systems, which forced us to redesign key components, adding more weeks to the calendar and more wrinkles to my forehead. But despite everything, it was done. Slowly, layer by layer, the steel skeleton took shape, covered itself with plates, equipped itself with its mechanical and electrical bowels. When the Enterprise was finally booted in 1936, it was not just a boat floating in the water. It was the culmination of thousands of hours of work, sweat and frustration, ingenuity and perseverance. Seeing that immense gray silhouette slide down the ramp and hit the water for the first time was a moment of pure pride, a lump in my throat that I could barely contain. My work didn't end there. I participated in sea trials, adjusting systems, correcting imperfections. Each successful test was a relief, every problem a new challenge. Finally, in 1938, the USS Enterprise CV-6 was commissioned, ready for service. I watched from the dock as the Big E set sail, a floating fortress that would carry the fate of the nation with it. We knew that the war was imminent, and that this ship, this work of our hands, would be in the eye of the hurricane. It was not only steel and engines, it was the manifestation of our dedication, a symbol of engineering and determination. And although the fear of what would come was real, so was the deep pride of having been part of his creation, of having built a legend that, without knowing it then, would write some of the bravest pages in naval history.